slog it out for factory honours at 9 rounds on 7 circuits, all but Malaysia's Sepang in Japan. Defending champion as the season starts here with the Suzuka 300 kilometers is Toyota with its Lexus SC430, now the benchmark to beat. But Suzuka is Honda's home circuit, and its 5 NSX teams have dominated practice and qualifying. Britain's Ralph Furman and his Japanese partner Daisuke Uto taking their second successive pole at this opening event. They failed to win last year, however, as champions-to-be German Andre Lotterer and Juichi Wakisaka swept through to the win for Lexus ahead of Nissan and then the number 8 NSX of Furman and Ito. Well, gone are the Toyota Supras from GT500, all 6 Toyota teams running the Lexus SC430 V8s, which took both driver and team titles last year. The 5 Hondas, joined by a 6 from the new Rolling Stone Real team, are unchanged apart from aerodynamic improvements, despite the NSX no longer being in production. So 16 GT500s, joined by another 25 GT300s, headed on pole. And they're coming up to the green lights now. This is Suzuka. 52 laps of the Honda-owned 5.8 kilometre circuit ahead. 41 starters, 30,000 spectators, and we go green! And it's Ralph Furman heading the field down to the first turn. Problems already though. That's Michael Krum and Katusaki Hironaka in the middle of the GT500 pack. They collide and take off the Woodoni Advan Clarion Z of Juan Paulo Lima de Oliveira. Big accident there, especially for the... There is de Oliveira rejoining, but I think the Hironaka car is absolutely finished, very heavily in the barriers. Problems there for the Woodoni Advan car, the Z as well, as it's got problems, but not, of course, for Ralph Furman. He is already pulling away from the rest of the field as they pull round the Japanese Formula One circuit. Of course, home to 20 Japanese Grands Prix from 1987 till 2006. But this year, the Formula One race has been lost to Toyota-owned Fuji. Track designed by Zandvoort's John Hugenholtz in 1962, the only figure-of-8 international circuit. And to many, it still remains Japan's premier circuit. Super GT will be back here in the heat of August for the 1,000 kilometres. But today, 300 kilometres as racing continues here. Big, big crowd. Beautiful spring sunshine here in this part of Japan, not that far from Nagoya. And those, of course, who follow Formula One know this circuit so well. Always one of the favourites of the drivers, along with Spa. Regulations then remain unchanged from 2006 with 2 categories, 500 or 300 horsepower GT cars, space frame front and rear ends around the original cockpit, 6-speed manual transmissions and power steering, but banned are ABS braking, traction control and carbon brakes. Ralph Furman then completing lap 1. It's all Honda, Arta Honda, Epson Honda, Takata Honda, Raybrick Honda, then the first of the Lexus cars, the Zent SC 430 there, then the Zanavi Z. Now the Zanavi Z back in the hands of Dream Team Motoyama and Britain's Richard Lyons. Those two were separated last year after Richard went his own way for a while, rejoined Nissan halfway through the season. Now those two are back together. As the rest of the GT500 field, those 3 cars at the back, all in varying states of damage. Well, I think Mikael Krum may well have got away with it in the Motul Altec Z. That is one of the one of the 2 Nismo cars. Right, now those Nissans this year, they've begun their quest already for more power. We'll talk more about that in a moment as we look at GT300, the endless Nissan Z leading the Toy Story Toyota MRS, and then the Huzan Nissan Z. And in 4th place, the beautiful Shiden. That is one of the stars of the Japanese series. It was last year, probably is going to be again this year in GT300. That Shiden running a 4.2 litre Toyota V8 engine. Won Sugo last year, finished 2nd in the championship in the hands of Rocky Kato and Kazuho Takahashi. So down to the back of the circuit, into the hairpin. Takes him down then through 200R, heading for Spoon Corner. Very high G-force turn with no less than 3 apexes. Here they are coming into Spoon now. Masami Kageyama leading GT300 from Kazuya Oshima. These two breaking away from the third place car, the Huzan Don Lopez of Kota Sasaki. We have lost the third car on the grid, which was Kazuya Oshima, Morio Nita in the Arta Guraya. He and Shinji Takagi making a return to that car after missing out the 2006 season. The Arta Guraya, very beautiful orange car, sponsored by Autobax, the overall sponsor of the Japanese Super GT series. They're missing because they spun. Morio Nita managed to spin it on the formation lap. Across the line they come then, GT300, 1-2. Scheiden in 4th place now, then the Vilcom VMAC, first of the VMACs, a British design car but built in Japan, or built for racing in Japan, and the VMACs running with a 4.5 litre MTEC. Back to the race leader overall then, Ralph Furman of Britain, the man from Norwich, at the wheel of the Arta NSX. This car which took him to victory at Sepang, 2nd place at Suzuka, this time last year, and of course, as we said earlier, started from pole position here for this race last year. 3.5 litre V6 MTEC, no longer turbocharged, got no turbo cars at all in 500 now. Yeah, just to go back to Nissan for a minute, been titleless since 2004, and to try to put that right, they've begun replacing the 3.5 litre V6 twin turbo it's used for the past 5 years. We did see it tried out last year at Motegi, but now the two factory cars both running with 4.5 litre V8s from the Infiniti M45 road car, but they have had development delays. It means only the two factory Nismo 350Zs, fair ladies they call them here, will happen for the first 2 races. The 3 customer teams staying with the V6 turbo until the Fuji 500 kilometers in May. Well, somehow that Denso card has made it back to the pits, absolutely wrecked at the back end there. They're going to retire it, there's no question about that. Here's this accident again. Look at the back of the pack there. Mikael Krum gets a bit close with a squeezer. I don't think that's actually Krum's fault. He got squeezed and of course, put the Denso car straight off, backwards into the wall. Katsuyuki Hironaka at the wheel. It means that Andre Couto, the Macau Portuguese driver, will not get a chance to race it this weekend. Great shame that. This is the Toyota Team Sard entry. No problems for Furman though. Pulling further and further ahead in the Team Honda Dome entry. .500 horsepower from these cars. The Arta that's leading, MTEC power. The Epson car in 2nd place, Loic Duval of France. Driving us here with Fabio Carboni. He's in his 2nd year, Loic Duval, and Carboni just did 1 race last year, which was the Suzuka 1000 kilometers for Nissan, which he finished 2nd in. So doing Japanese Formula 3 in the Brazilian in his first full season of Super GT. So a good 2nd place for them. Their engine prepared incidentally by Honda itself rather than MTEC. Run by Satoru Nakajima. 3rd place, the Takata Dome NSX, that's Team Honda Dome. And there is Daisuke Ito watching the progress of his teammate Ralph Furman, leading the race here from pole position. Battle for 6th place then. There is the Zanabi Nismo Z of Richard Lyons and Satoshi Motoyama. Motoyama at the wheel at the moment. And the car they're fighting off at the moment is the Huzan Toms SC430. This is the car that was the open interface car last year. Of course, that car taken to the championship by Juichi Wakisaka and Andre Lotterer, the German Andre Lotterer, on board at the moment. Well, here's going back to GT300, no change there. It's Endless Z from the Toy Story MRS, but look how close that little MRS is now, right on his tail. 3.5 litres of a Toyota V6 against 3.5 litres of Nissan V6. Masami Kageyama leading from Kazuya Oshima. Great battle raging around the circuit between these two as they go down into first turn and come back up the hill into that long series of S's sweeps. Turns 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. Going through 5 at the moment. Now this is the Guraya, the Arta Guraya of Mario Nita. This is the car that's making its return after a year's absence. And Nita really pushing that car now. He had a big problem, as we saw at the start of the race, in the formation lap. We haven't seen it yet. We're going to show it to you. Here it is. There is Nita in the Guraya. And look at this. As the cars ahead are weaving, he suddenly loses control and spins on the formation lap. I mean, it's only going down to turn 1. So big mistake by Nita there, starting 3rd on the grid, and at the moment running down in, I think, about 8th place, or even further down in overall 19th, yes. There it is. There is the Guraya. Nissan 3.5 litre V6. It's a sports car that Autobacks designed and built themselves. They use them for the road as well as for racing. This one was sort of retired last year, but Autobacks decided to return to the fray. The car making up time already. So it's still endless Nissan from Toy Story, Toyota, Kageyama from Oshima, from Kota Sasaki, who won at Sugo last year, and who's on Dunlop Nissan Z in 3rd place in GT300. Motors bringing you all the best in coverage of all sports car racing all around the world. Super GT, no exception. Le Mans Series, American Le Mans Series, and of course the Le Mans 24 Hours. So keep watching here on Motors. We can take a short break, and when we come back, we'll see how this race, the Suzuka 300 kilometers, is panning out. Welcome back to Super GT here on Motors. You're with me, Mark Cole, and we're looking at the moment at the 2nd place battle here in GT500. The Epson NSX of Loic Duval of France, heading off Ryo Mishigami in the Takata Dome NSX. Huge crowd here at Suzuka Circuit, 30,000 of them in the spring sunshine here at the circuit, close to Nagoya. It's on the Pacific coast of Japan, and it's now cherry blossom time, so beautiful time of year here in Japan. Nice and cool, very similar to Europe at the moment. Then it'll get hotter and hotter and hotter here at Suzuka until in August, when they have the 1,000 kilometers. The heat and humidity are almost unbearable. So Ralph Furman of Britain leading overall in the Arta NSX, from the Epson NSX, Takata Dome NSX, and the Rolling Stone Real NSX. 4 Hondas up front on the circuit, which Honda owns. They're in huge competition, of course, with Toyota. Toyota now the owner of Fuji Speedway, which has snatched the Japanese Grand Prix from them this year for the first time in 20 years. Fuji's been upgraded, and both Suzuka and Fuji hosting 2 rounds of the Super GT this year. Suzuka, as we said, in August for the 1,000 kilometers. Fuji will be here in May and then end the season again in November. Very, very real chance of snow in November, that late in the year. Fuji set in the Hakone National Park, just underneath Mount Fuji, the sacred symbol of Japan. Here's a GT300 battle still going on between the endless Nissan 350Z, Fair Lady Z they call it there, of Masami Kageyama, leading the Toy Story MRS of Kazuya Oshima. And a great battle this is, really, really pushing hard. If you saw the first part of the program, you'll have seen that the car that was in third was a big move there into turn 1, but Kageyama holds his line. Yes, if you joined us in the first part, you'll see the car that qualified 3rd on the grid, the Arta Guraya Nissan of Mario Nita. That's a specialist sports car built by Autobac, spun on the formation lap, and he's still clawing his way back up the field. Just trying to find out exactly where he is at the moment. Start from the very back of the grid, and is up to 17th place, we believe now. So format remains unchanged for the racing. Two drivers, and neither of the driver can do more than 2/3 of the distance. Well, there's the Arta Garage we're just talking about. Mario Nita taking it into the pits. Apparently he has decided the car is handling evilly, which is probably why he had that formation lap spin. And they're going to come in and make adjustments to it. Something wrong, maybe a broken rear shock or something like that. You can't always be prepared for every eventuality at the beginning of a race. All the hours of preparation after qualifying and checking everything else. You've only got to go out on the track and something breaks, and it's all negated. Motoyama still holding off the Huzan rather, Tom's Lexus 4.5 V8 car that won the championship last year. Surprisingly, the car is not right up front at the moment, because this is the battle for 6th place at the moment. Oh, and Motoyama really having to watch where his opponent there, Andre Lotterer, is. Lotterer driving a blinder of a race here at the moment. There's an RVZ run by Nismo, the tuning arm, official motorsport arm of Nissan, run by Yoshitaka Ijima. Two cars, of course, there's an RV Nismo SZ and the Motul Autek Z of Mikhail Krum and Sugio Matsuda. Both these cars with the 4.5 litre V8s. Engines out of the Infinity. Obviously paying dividends, because the other cars... problem here for the Clarion car. This is the car we saw on the first lap involved in that big accident. This is Juan Paulo Lima de Oliveira. He's crawling round. That too had damage to its rear end, and it seems drivetrain problems we're hearing, transmission problems. Is Oliveira going to get back to the pits? He's on the far side of the circuit where they have the short circuit pits. That was the starting grid for that who's just going over. And still this great fight for 6th place as they go past GT300s. That's the speed difference, of course. The GT300s starting 30 seconds behind. As out comes Nita. Still on board the Arta Garage. Very pretty car, this. Car that only just lost the 2004 championship by a single point. Didn't race last year. It's back now. Quarterbacks deciding they want it to get more exposure. Of course, they're running the lead car as well. The Arta NSX of Ralph Furman. It's the 10th anniversary this year for Arta. And team boss Aguri Suzuki said, we want to mark the 10th anniversary, have a special year, so we decided to bring back the symbol of Autobacks, the Garage. And look at this, what a fight going on here between these two still. So Lexus trying to hunt down Nissan. So no Toyota Supras running this year in the GT500 class. Lexus bought in last year because Toyota wanted to update the shape of the car, wanted a more slippery shape for its GT500. Until last year, Lexus was not marked in Japan. Luc Duval then, Luc Duval, that is the French driver in the Epson NSX, was in 2nd place, and he has just spun out. That was in, I think, turn 3. Big mistake there by Duval. Exactly see what happened, but it's not the sort of error a driver of his caliber normally makes. Maybe there was a GT300 got in his way and he had to avoid it. Trouble is, if you touch any GT300 in his GT500 cars, you are heading for the pits for a drive-through penalty. So Duval may be taking rather drastic avoiding action and spinning out. Motoyama then still heading off. Andre Lotterer, 2 times champion Motoyama, once of course with Richard Lyons, 2004, and multiple Formula Nippon champion. Japan's equivalent of what is now GP2. And just ahead of him is Loic Duval, spun back to 5th place from 2nd to 5th. In the Nakajima run Epson Honda NSX. So there are Honda's still 1, 2, 3, and the Zenitsu Primo of Toru Takagi. Then Loic Duval, that's where he spun back to. Then Motoyama, right behind Motoyama, Andre Lotterer. But Motoyama not giving Lotterer another chance, is not leaving a door open at any stage in this race so far. So just the one retirement so far. Out of the Denso Lexus of Hironaka and Kuto. Had a terrible year in the Supra last year, only finished 23rd in the championship. Finally, they've got hold of a Lexus SC430. It's basically the same as the Supra underneath, but different body and more development over the winter to make that car even more competitive. But this is not how they wanted to start off their campaign with the new car with Toyota Team Saad. Ralph Furman now some 2.5 seconds ahead of the opposition. There's the 3rd place Takata Dome NSX. Or 2nd place, I should say, of course. Epson falling down the order. I'm just looking at the speed of that car. Did turn a 156 at one stage. Qualifying time in the 150s, so they're running quite a long way off qualifying, 6 seconds off that pace. A long circuit, of course, here at Fuji, 5.8 kilometers, 17 turns, owned by Honda. And the race record 152. That's a spinner there. That's the Fina Porsche of Tia Miyamoto, running towards the back of the field. A lot more Porsches this year. We've got 7 or 8 of them in the series, becoming the turnkey car to have in the Super GT series. Most of them using the GT3 Cup. And there is the order, endless Toyota Toy Story MRS, the Huzan Z, and the Scheiden in 4th place. The VMAC in 5th place, and the Actio Lamborghini in 6th place. So no change there in the order since the start of the race in GT300. 500 meanwhile still led by Ralph Furman of Britain. Is this going to be his chance to win from pole position, something he was unable to do last year? Find out after the break. We're back with motors. I'm Mark Cole. This is Ralph Furman leading the opening round of the 2007 Super GT Championship here in the Arta NSX, the car which started today from pole position, just as it did in this race last year. He's leading a flotilla of Honda NSXs at the moment. This is the car that's no longer in production, but Honda has decided it's got nothing it's going to better it at the moment. The cars are so quick round here. Remember last year they started off the season with turbo motors. They've now all gone over to the MTech 3.5 litre V6 normally aspirated engines. It made all the difference last year. They immediately started winning. And Ralph Furman, in fact, took this car to victory at Sepang in Malaysia, the only round outside Japan. Here's the 3rd place car at the moment, Dominic Schwager in the Raybrigg car. Gradually moved himself up the order. And of course, after seeing that problem for the Epson NSX of Loic Duval, behind him, the Zenitsu SC430 of Toru Takagi. There he is. That is the car at the moment. So we've got lap 13 behind us. We're on lap 14. There is that Zent car. This is Toyota Team Tsurumo. This car won at Sugo last year with Toru Takagi. Was third at Motegi. The engine of that car prepared by Toyota Technocraft. Here then, Loic Duval still in 5th place, looking to try and get back that 2nd place, which he held from the start of the race. And look, he is very quick at the moment. 1:56 on his last lap. Fastest man on the circuit at the moment. There's the Scheiden. Beautiful Mooncraft built car. Named after the Japanese World War II fighter. The Scheiden. As you know, your Japanese aircraft will of course know it was a Kawanishi car, and the Scheiden meaning violet lightning. The Scheiden here, powered by 4.2 litre Toyota V8. Rocky Kato, well known to British race fans, of course, from his Champ Car days. This car won at Sugo last year, finished 2nd in the GT300 Championship. And there he is, still hanging on to the leaders there. These 3 cars then, 1, 2, 3 in GT300. Kageyama, I have to say, doing a great job holding off Oshima. Oshima has just been attacking every single lap. But because of that, they've more or less helped themselves up, and that's allowed Rocky Kato in the Privé Kenzo Scheiden to now haul them both in. 2:06, the best lap by them. So they're 10 seconds off the GT500 pace. That's the difference that 200 horsepower makes. Into the Casio chicane. This is to complete 15 laps. Casio triangle, forever famous, of course, for the aggravation between Prost and Senna in Formula One over the years. And again, look at this, down goes the Toy Story car on the inside. Oh, and he's so close. Oshima's so close to taking the GT300 class lead, but he just can't do it. Kageyama really holds him off. Great job there. Kageyama really has got his wits about him today. He's completely awake. His car finished 4th in the championship last year. Didn't have a win, it had 2 second places, but that win is still something they've been looking for. The car is run by Yoshiaki Nakamura, Endless Sports. They're based in Nagano in Japan, and Endless is actually a high-performance brake pad manufacturer. Kageyama, one of those successful drivers in the history of GT racing, with 7 wins in GT500. Decided to move down to GT300 and see what he could do there. Also one-time champion. Loic Duval then. Oh, he's gone ahead. He has gone ahead, has he not? Loic Duval up into 4th place. Yes, here's where the pass comes. That is the Zent car of Toru Takagi, and he is passed in the chicane, the Casio triangle, by Loic Duval of France. So at the moment, Britain, Ralph Thurman leading France, Loic Duval. And in 3rd place, Germany, Dominik Schwager, driving the Raybrake NSX with Shinya Hosokawa. Dominik Schwager replacing Nelson Philippe of France in the 100 Raybrake car. Back to GT300 again. Again, big look down the inside by Kazuya Oshima. But he just cannot get by this Nissan. Kageyama's got the grunt coming out of the corners. He's got the traction, and he can get those 300 horses down onto the track better than the lighter, smaller, and probably more slippery Toyota MRS of Kazuya Oshima. Almost identical engines, both 3.5 litre V6s. One, of course, Nissan, the other Toyota. And that little car, the Toy Story Toyota, won here last year. Finished 5th in the championship, but that's with Mario Nita and Shinichi Takagi. They, of course, having gone back to the R-Tiger, have handed over the Toy Story MRS to Kazuya Oshima and to Haruoki Ishiura. Ralph Furman then on lap 17 of 52 now. Remember, about half distance, there will be driver changes, pit stops for refueling, tyres. This car we're looking at the moment, running on Bridgestone. Second place Takata also on Bridgestone, and the third place Raybrig NSX on Bridgestone. The only exception amongst the Honda Brigade to that is the Epson NSX of Satoru Nakajima's team, and they're on Dunlops. A long time partnership between Dunlop and Nakajima, and it continues here in Super GT. So looking at the gap now between those two cars, about 2.5 seconds still. Ralph knows if he can just hold it there, doesn't have to push, risk anything. Comes out of the spoon corner. Coming up to the crossover. As we look at the Forum Engineering SC430, Bjorn Wertheim. Well, there's a name to conjure with. Remember Bjorn Wertheim, the 2003 Formula 3000 champion. He's decided to throw his lot in with the team Toyota Le Mans. Car named Forum Engineering Lexus. It's what was the Mobil 1 car last year. So that Lexus 4.5 litre V8, Wertheim sharing with Tatsuya Kataoka. Bjorn racing in Formula Nippon last year. That's where he finished up. He was 6th last year in the championship. Remember, one-time Jaguar test driver. I did champ car. Drives for Team Dandelion again this year in Formula Nippon, but driving for Toyota Team Le Mans in Super GT. That's the Forum Engineering car in 8th place. The Real NSX, another new entry. That's the Rolling Stone Real Racing team, just been formed, and its car is shared by cousins Katsutomo Kaneshi and Toshihiro Kaneshi. Toshihiro, of course, the 2001 German Formula 3 champion, as the Artiguria almost goes off the track, making way for the 500s piling through there. So there are the overall standings. GT 500 behind the Real NSX car, the Bandai Lexus. That's the Bandai Dunlop car of Naoko Hattori and Peter Dunbrek of Britain. We haven't seen Peter this weekend yet. There's our first shot of that car, the number 35 car. Again, Toyota Team Toms. They won at Fuji last year. This is the point where the field now becoming more and more spread out around this long 5.8 kilometer circuit. There's the Calsonic Nissan. It's the Impulse Z of Benoit Trullier, another Frenchman. He drives with Kazuki Hoshino for Team Hoshino. And this is Kazuyoshi Hoshino's team. It's his son Kazuki who races in it, and Hoshino himself, a long time Nissan driver, was called fastest man in Japan for many years when he was racing Formula 3000, Formula Nippon, and of course driving for Nissan's Group C team in the World Sports Car Championship at Le Mans, and also of course at Daytona 24 Hours. Coming up the hill, there's the Zent car. In 5th place. Toru Takagi still at the wheel, being hunted down now by Motoyama. So that Zent car, long time running fourth behind the three Hondas, until Luc Duval in the Epson car, who'd spun out earlier, down to fifth. Rehauled him. So a long way to go yet. So take a break here on motors, and we'll be back to see how this race pans out. Soon be time for pit stops. Welcome back to Motors. This is Super GT from Japan, the opening round here at Suzuka Circuit. Glorious spring sunshine. We're watching the battle at the moment for fifth place between the Zent-sponsored Lexus SC430 of Toru Takagi, winner at Sugo last year and third at Motegi. And chasing him down is the factory Nissan Zanavi Nismo Z of Satoshi Motoyama. We're already waiting for changes. Richard Lanzen, the man from Northern Ireland, he's sitting there in the pits waiting to take over. So it looks like he could well be the first car to stop. We're on lap 20 now of 52. So my guess is that Nismo's had a look at what's happening there. They've decided that Motoyama is not able to get past Toru Takagi in the Zent Lexus, so they're going to bring him in a little bit earlier than usual. We'd normally be looking 25, 26 laps for pit stops, but I guess this one's going to come probably on lap 21. Richard is all ready to go. A little bit of a breeze here today, but a very pleasant climate. I've been to Suzuka at this time of year several times, and it's cherry blossom time. Very, very nice temperate weather, bit of a cool breeze sometimes, just really makes a difference. These cars, no problems of overheating this weekend, of course. That problem will come at the 1,000 kilometers in August when they come back here. But as you've heard, no Japanese Grand Prix here this year. That has gone to Fuji. Although Suzuka is trying to fight back. Honda President Takeo Fukui said he's confident they'll get the Grand Prix back. They're going to spend a lot of money renovating this circuit. Very good safety record at Suzuka. There's only been one car racing death in all those years, and that was a collision on the start line. 2 motorcycle deaths, and that's in 45 years. So there's a lot of European circuits quite envious of that record of this John Hugenholtz designed circuit. Hugenholtz designed Zandvoort, designed Suzuka, and of course designed Jarama in Spain. Those were his 3 trademark circuits with a long, long start straight going down to a hairpin, something that Barcelona itself copied from his idea. So Fuji itself has been upgraded by Hermann Tilke. We saw it last year with the new format, and they will be running the Japanese Grand Prix at the Toyota-owned circuit this year, but Honda hopeful they'll get it back, probably as a Pacific Grand Prix if there is a space. You've probably all heard the French Grand Prix has been cancelled for 2008. The French Federation saying it's not economically viable, so perhaps that will open the door for a Pacific Grand Prix here. There's a Lamborghini in the frame, just in front of Toru Takagi at the moment. Takagi and the Zent Lexus there, and Motoyama right behind him. Is Motoyama going to take this opportunity to go into the pits now? No, goes past again. So Motoyama staying out for another lap in the Zanavi Nissan, the red car there as they come past the Lamborghini. That car, the Actio Murcielago of Marco Apicella. Remember that car won here last year at the opening round of 2006. Finished 11th in the championship, did absolutely nothing after that opening win. Everyone's saying, wow, this is going to be something. 6-litre V12 in that car, and he had that win with Yasutaka Hinoi. He's been replaced, Hinoi, and Koji Yamanishi is now driving with Italian Marco Apicella. Of course, big news for Lamborghini was their win in the FI GT Championship at Zhuhai in China just one weekend ago. So things are definitely looking up for the Italian team. 23 pit is getting ready. Richard Lyons is there just limbering up. So they're waiting to bring Satoshi Motoyama in. Here he is, here's Motoyama. It's on the far side of the circuit, just coming out of the hairpin. Heading down through the 200R now, then into Spoon, which is turn 13 of 17. Obviously decided they're going to bring him in because he is stuck a little bit behind Takagi. No disrespect to Takagi, but that Nissan has looked at the faster car all the time. He's just unable to do anything about getting past Takagi. So up the hill they come, under the crossover. This is where over the crossover. That's where the circuit goes over itself. Then into the 130R, one of motorsport's most feared corners. Ask Alan McNish about that when he drove for Toyota in Formula One. One of the most frightening accidents of Formula One of the past decade, which Alan McNish walked away from. Is Motoyama going in? Yes, he is. He dives into the pits. He becomes our first pit stopper of the routine stops, of course. We have had a couple of cars earlier in with problems, the Garaya and then the Denso Saab, which retired into the pits, but this is the first routine stop. Motoyama will hand over to Richard Lyons. And as always, now watch what goes on here. You cannot touch the tyres while the car's being refueled, but you can change drivers. What a lot of the teams do is change rear tyres, then refuel, then do the fronts, but no, this time they're refueling first at the back of the car. Side of the car, rather, right behind where Motoyama is just strapping Richard into the car. Refueling, of course, on the right-hand side of the car, so you don't have to pull the hose over. Fuel's done, tyres are changed. Off they come, Bridgestone's on the front. Backs have already been done, and out goes Richard Lyons. That's quite a neat way of doing it. You do the backs first, then you fuel, then you do the front. So that way you work your way down the car, less running around to do. So Richard Lyons rejoins, first of our pit stoppers. Lap 21 as we forecast. There's our race leader then, Ralph Furman still, son of Ralph Sr., man who owned Van Diemen Racing, one of the most popular Formula Ford choices of the 70s and 80s. My time with Ralph goes back to when I was a pupil at the Jim Russell Racing Driver School at Snetterton in the mid-60s, and Ralph was the school mechanic working with Jim Russell. In comes the 18 car then, he's our second stopper, the Takata car, Ryo Mishigami. That car built by Dome, run by Team Honda Dome. He hands over to Takashi Kogure, and in comes the Zent car as well. So Takagi just did one more lap before he decided to come in after Motoyama. Now, what are Honda doing today? They're going to just change the rears. This is what they quite often do. No fronts at the moment, but all four tires are going to be changed on that chromium Zent Lexus. Yes, just rears for the Takata car as back out goes Takashi Kogure. Four tires though on the Lexus. This is what we saw last year, that the NSXs are very, very light on their front tires. They can get away with just changing the rears, and that does save you a lot of time. Four tires and fuel takes, as you can see, adds another 4 or 5 seconds onto the pit stop, and that could be the difference between winning and losing at the end of the race. When the Ferrari's in, I beg its pardon, it's not the Ferrari, it's the GT300 running Honda NSX. Out he goes as GT500 leader Ralph Furman passes yet again. Oh, and off goes the car we just saw rejoining from the pits. He didn't get very far. Koneshi, that is. That's the Rolling Stone Real NSX car. So their first pit stop in GT500, car new to this season. ends up with one of the Kaneshis going off at the first corner. Very much a rookie mistake, that. They won't be kissing cousins, will they, when he gets back to the pits after that? Ralph Furman then trying to go the long way around back markers. In comes Andre Lotterer then in that Huzan car. Gave such a hard time to Motoyama early in the race. Lotterer handing over to Jichi Wakisaka. You can't make these names up, can you? Car running number 1, of course, in honour of its championship success last year. First year that Toyota ran as Lexus, and they took the title. More pit stops there. This is the yellow hat Tamika Nissan Z. Haven't seen much of that car. Sebastian Philippe of France handing over to Masataka Yanagida. Car run by the Hasemi team. Hasemi, like Hoshino, one of the most respected of Nissan's drivers in his heyday. Masahiro Hasemi. As Ralph Furman, our race leader, makes his stop, brings in the pole position, Arta Honda NSX. Going to hand it over to Daisuke Ito, man with whom he won the Sepang 300 kilometers last year. Finished second at Suzuka, having started from pole last year. For this race, second finishing in the 1,000 kilometers, by the way, not in this race. So again, just rear tires, no attention being paid to the front, so obviously quite happy with them. So Ito's got to get back out there in the Team Honda Dome, and also in the Raybrig car. There it is, pit stops continuing. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back for the Suzuka 300 kilometers. Welcome back to Motors, and welcome back to our coverage of Super GT. Here is our race leader. It's Daisuke Ito. Well, he will be our race leader when all the GT 500s have made their stops. He made a lightning stop, got in and out. Oh, one of the GT 300s cutting off across the chicane, getting out of wave back markers. This car, presumably at the moment, the Calsonic Impulse Z is our leader. He hasn't not yet made his first stop. 28 laps completed out of 52. There is the Arta NSX. And as soon as that Calsonic car pits, he will become our real, as opposed to virtual, race leader. The Takata Gome NSX. Oh, and one of the Porsches off there under the crossover. That's the FINA car we saw spinning earlier on. That's the FINA Glad Special Olympics GT3R, to give its full title. In comes the number 13 Endless Advan GT300 leader of Masami Kageyama. He'll be handing over to Tomonobu Fuji. The wrong circuit, Fuji, isn't he? Fourth in 2006 in the championship, 2 second places but no wins, and that is what the Endless team is looking for here this afternoon in the sunshine at Suzuka. Endless, as we mentioned, they are the high-performance brake pad people in Japan. There's always a story behind all these sponsors. So 3.5 litre V6 engine, not quite as highly tuned as the big brother. Fair Lady Zs, 350Zs as we know them. And of course those Nismo cars now 4.5 litre V8s out of the Infiniti M45. There is our race leader in GT300 for the moment then. It's still Kazuya Oshima leading, because he's got to yet make his stop. He'll be handing over when he does make that stop to Hiroaki Ishiura. This car new to these guys this year, as just behind them the Raybrig NSX of Dominic Schwager, which has just been handed over to Shinya Hosokawa. Comes up behind him. In comes the Calsonic Impulse Z. Benoit Trullier will hand over to Kazuki Hoshino. And they give up the lead. They held briefly until they made their stop, which puts Honda's 1, 2, 3 back in the order out front. 4 tyres again on the Nissans and Lexi. The 3 Honda NSX Bridgestone runners able to go the full distance on one set of front tyres, just changing the rears. The exception, the Epson NSX of Roach Duval, Fabio Carboni, being on Dunlops. We'll see if they're going to make that change when they come in. Back out goes Hoshino, careful to observe the 80 kilometers an hour speed limit in the pit lane here at Suzuka. Feeds back out onto the track, don't go over that blend line. And he feeds in right behind the Zonavi Nismo X of Richard Lyons. That's Lyons has just gone through and he's about to go down another place, I think. Yes, indeed, as the Bandai Dunlop Lexus of Peter Dumbrek, Naoki Hattori goes through, and right behind him the Legion Mosler. There it goes, the Mosler GT300. So it's taking a while for Hoshino to get back up to speed. Here's the number 7 car, the little Amamiya Drinks 2-litre rotary powered Mazda, car that won in Sepang last year. Hiroyuki Iri is still at the wheel, but Tetsu Yamano, who drove it with him last year to the championship title, has been replaced by Ryo Orime. They're looking to see if they can't pull off the championship again. Big surprise that to everyone last year. Mazda RX-7 winning the GT300 title. Here we are with our GT500 battles, Arta NSX, Takata NSX, and then in third place should be the Raybrig car. There it is, coming across the line now. Shinya Hosokawa now at the wheel, having taken over from Dominic Schwager, who did a very good job moving a car from 6th into 2nd place. The second car of Takagi in 4th, and still behind him, the Zonavi Z, now in the hands of Richard Lyons. Oh, and a big off just as we look down there. That was that Raybrig car of Hosokawa just taking it over for Schwager. Now, what did he do there? Got that completely wrong, and that's just under the hill there with the what they call the Gyaku Bank. Big impact there. Luckily, foam walls here. He's gone through those, and I don't know how hard he's hit the wall behind. Let's have a look again. Well, this is in through turns 4 and 5, goes into 5. Does something break? He just loses it right on the apex. I don't believe that was a driver. I think something broke there. Maybe the steering, because he just went headfirst into the wall there, could do nothing about it. Let's see how much damage there is when they pull him out. Well, that is a big impact by the 100 car there, the Team Kunimitsu team. Dominic Schwager having moved the car into 3rd. Good job by him. He hands the car over to Shinya Hosokawa. Hosokawa, of course, winning Motegi in this car last year. Twin ring Motegi. A lot of damage, I think. There's a lot of steam coming out, so they'll obviously burst radiators. So he's taken the pressure, of course, off the front 2 cars, the Arta NSX and the Takata Dome. Incidentally, Ford GT just in the background there. Just saw a glimpse of it as Daisuke Ito passed it, that Ford GT, the HG Advan Ford we saw last year with Takubamba and Daisuke Ikeda. They're back for more, 3.5 litre V8 engine. That was the first racing Ford GT in captivity. Passing the Mosler. Goes race leader Ito. Takata NSX in 2nd. The Zent Supremo, of course, moving up into 3rd place. Big surprise for them, because it looked like Honda were going to take the first 4 places here after qualifying. They filled places 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6. The Zent Supremo, which is now into 3rd place, was the only one able to get in amongst that Honda act in 5th place. Toru Takagi and now Yuji Tachikawa doing the job. In comes the number 11 car This is the Total Benefit Ferrari. It was red last year, it's blue this year. This is run by Gym Center, which is the International Translation School. It's an F360, 3.5 litre V8, and a new crew. This car won at Motegi last year, but with different drivers. The new crew, Hideshi Matsuda and Masayuki Ueda. And Ueda's just handing the car over to Matsuda now. There is the Zensu. I was going to say Supra, so used to that. Zent Lexus Tsurumo SC430 of Yuji Tachikawa. Takagi just chipping away early in the race, putting the car up into 4th place. That's become 3rd now. It's the second Honda problem we've had in the race. Epson Honda spun out earlier, although it is back in the frame. And then now the Raybrig car heavily crashed by Shinya Hosokawa. And that car, we are told, not returning to the race. A lot of front-end damage. 4 laps down now. It's looking more and more like this is going to be Honda's weekend. A little bit different to last year. Toyota won from 2 Hondas and then Nissan. Honda came here full of expectation then this year, making no mistake about it at all. Not a great deal of change to these cars, just some aerodynamic improvements, but the big difference being, of course, instead of 5 Honda NSXs last year, there are now 6. And here is Loic Duval up into 5th place now. Loic Duval's teammate, that is. He's just handed the car over to Fabio Carboni, the Brazilian. They're both running, of course, in Formula Nippon this year. A lot of drivers double up on both series. It's quite obvious. They've gone all the way out to Japan to race, so do both. Carboni driving for Team Dandelion as Von Wertheim's partner in Formula Nippon. Recent test, by the way, at Fuji Speedway. Benoit Trullier, fastest from Matsuda. Loic Duval in 3rd, Motoyama 4th, and Carboni down in 10th place, Wertheim in 11th. So Andre Lotterer in 14th. A lot of Europeans racing in that series. 22 cars this year. They got their first round coming up soon at Fuji. So Duval now right on the tail of Richard Lyons. Honda's very much more nimble around this circuit this weekend. Lyons and Motoyama, the dream team that won the 2004 championship. Richard Lyons missed 2005. Missed 2006, Richard Lyons in. Motoyama raced in 2005, just correcting myself there. Finished 3rd, having been champions together. Richard then went off 2006 to seek his fame and fortune elsewhere, but wasn't to be, so returned halfway through the year. And did the last 5 races of the season, netting 2 second places at Sepang and in the Suzuka 1,000 kilometers, and a 3rd at Sugo. But he'd like to be winning again. Very, very talented Ulsterman. Well, we'll take a break here on Motors TV. Stay with me, Mark Cole, to see how this race pans out. Now all the pit stops are behind us. Welcome back, Rice fans, to Motors. Mark Cole here with round 1 of Japanese Super GT, the 14th year of the series. Toyota, Nissan and Honda slogging it out around the circuit. Honda at the moment 1, 2 and 3. As we watch the progress of Richard Lyons in the Zanavi Nissan Z. fighting for 4th place with the Epson NSX of France's Guac Duval and Brazilian Fabio Carboni. Carboni now at the wheel of this car, and a great pressure he's putting on Richard. Carboni running in Japanese Formula 3 last year. He's now made the step up to Formula Nippon. Up behind the second of the Lamborghini. This is the Ford GT, not the Lamborghinis. Ford GT, the first one in captivity. There's a race car, more following now. Richard Lyons taking up the cudgels where he left them off last year. Last year put into a different car from Motoyama. As in comes the Scheiden down for the pit stop, obviously trying to hurry the little Toy Story car ahead of him. These two have been fighting tooth and nail for the lead of the race. Second and third until the endless Nissan Z made its pit stop. Now these two come in as second and third. Kazuya Oshima handing over to Hideaki Ishiura. And the Scheiden being handed over by Rocky Kato to Kazuho Takahashi. There we can see their stops. It looks like it's 4 tires for the Scheiden, but only 2 perhaps for the Toy Story MRS. Out goes the Toy Story MRS. 30.1 his stop. Yeah, a longer stop because of the 4 tire change for the Privé Kenzo Scheiden. Violet Lightning coming out, careful not to cross the blend line. So that's the difference that changing 2 or 4 tires makes. Again, 4 or 5 seconds. Well, there is the race leading GT300 Endless. Advan Senzaike Kume Nissan Fairlady Z to give it its full title. That we just saw Kazuya Oshima, man who's just handed over the Toy Story Toyota MRS to his teammate Hiroaki Ishiura. There is the car then. Gradually getting back into swing of things, indeed in second place. That's how they started the race. The way things are going, that's how they're going to finish the race. But this car, which Rocky Kato handed over to Takahashi, has very quickly caught up. Now what's happened there? There was a 4 or 5 second gap between them. Oh, it's a problem for that problem here for the Toy Story MRS, and that is change of position. That is second place going to the Scheiden. Takahashi just snatching that place away from the MRS. And now what was happening with the MRS? He hadn't changed front tires, just rear tires. New driver, of course, so he's coming out being a little bit careful, Ishiura, but what happened? He was very, very slow into the hairpin there, making room for a GT500 car. Let's have a look at that again. Did he just not realise that that was a GT300 rival coming up behind him? He follows the Zenth through, and the Scheiden driver, Takahashi just says, thank you very much, takes the place away, and there it goes. Here then is the Tsunabe car going through. Then through comes the Epson NSX of Fabio Carboni. So I don't know if the Toyota driver had a problem there or if he just was being too cautious in making way for GT500s. Anyway, some result is he lost his second place on his outlap from the pits. Big accident there again, coming thick and fast today. This is the Ford GT. He's stuffed it in the wall. Bamba, Taku Bamba, just took the car over from Daisuke Aikida. Look, it's done a lot of damage to the back of that car. If Jeremy Clarkson was watching this, he'd be in tears now. So Bamber staying in the car for the moment, perhaps not realising the course. FRO, they're not actually giving a full course yellow, but they're just warning everybody that this intervention car is out on the course. There's a lot of damage there. Bamber is out and he's walking, having a look at what he's done to the back of this beautiful Ford GT, modern day replica of the Ford GT40. Just trying to be clear where that's happened. I think it's probably down in the S's section. Tom's Toyota. So we're going to take a break. Stay with us here on Motors for Super GT. We're back at Suzuka, the 300 kilometers, where race leader Daisuke Ito in the Arta Honda NSX is our overall leader after 38 of 52 laps. Here of the opening round of the 2007 Super GT Series. Glorious sunshine, 30,000 spectators here at the Suzuka Formula One circuit, and the big battle going on still between that Arta car and this car, the Takata Dome NSX of Ria Mishigami and Takashi Koguru. Koguru having just taken over control of the Bridgestone Shod car. This car won at Okayama last year, was second at Autopolis. And then in third place, the Zen Lexus of Takagi and Tachikawa. And they in turn being chased by the Zenavi Z of Britain's Richard Lyons, the man from Ulster. And he's being given a hard time by Francis Loic Duval in the Epson NSX. Well, it was Loic Duval, of course. That car now in the hands of Fabio Carboni, and spun by Duval earlier in the race, dropped down to 5th place. Now still there in 5th, but battling to get back up onto the podium. Some lights flashing as that number 17 Rolling Stone Real NSX of the Kaneshi cousins goes through. This is one of the new cars to the series this year. It's the 6th of the Nissan. There is Katsutomo Kaneshi watching the progress of his cousin Toshihiro, who's now at the wheel. Car started 4th on the grid, but they had some problems, as we saw. And a couple of minor offs, and at the moment they have dropped outside the top 6. It bodes well for the future. First time out, and they can put such a good performance on. Great performance being put on still. 4th place battle between Richard Lyons and Fabio Carboni. Richard this year concentrating on Super GT. He's done his time in Formula Nippon. He was the champion, of course, and now leaving it to others to battle out the single-seater series. This, though, Super GT is Japan's premier motor racing series. Still this battle for 4th place going on. Subaru Impreza there, back in the frame this year. It's been in for some years, but they've decided to have another good go with it. The Impreza 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo, just like the rally cars. Tetsuya Yamano and Takayuki Aoki showing that car. Here's the Toy Story car of Ishihara. Big mistake when he let the Scheiden there through, the Violet Lightning Scheiden, on his outlap from the pits, but he's stuck right on the tail of that blue Privé Scheiden. And the Endless Z still leading. Tomonobu Fuji at the wheel now, having taken over from Masami Kageyama. Wilcom VMAC in 4th place, the Acteo Lamborghini Murcielago RG1 in 5th place. That's the 88 car of Marco Apicella, who's now at the wheel, the Italian driving, and Koji Yamanishi. In comes the Amiyame RX-7. This is our 2006 championship winning car. He's had a drive-through penalty. We don't know what for. Both new drivers in this car, as we said earlier. Car that won in Sepang last year, took the championship. Hiroyuki Iri handed the car over to Rio Orime, and it's Orime who's just taken the drive-through penalty. I suspect it's probably some pit infringement, maybe somebody touched the car while it's being refueled. Nothing on the track, certainly, that we've seen. And there, carrying number 1 from its 2006 championship success, the Huzan Toms Lexus SC430 of Andre Lotterer and Juichi Wakisaka. Wakisaka now driving the car, comes into the pits. Drive-through penalty for him as well, so maybe a pit error there. Unless something happened between him and the Ford GT. We never saw it happen to the GT, just the end result, so who knows. Nothing coming up on the pit bulletins about what happened. So Wakisaka rejoins, negating Andre Lotterer's hard work, but that car's never really been in the frame today, despite carrying number 1. Started in 11th place. Of course, everyone starts on 0 weights at the beginning of the season. Oh, nice moves here between Richard Lyons and Fabio Carboni, going either side of one of the back marker Lamborghinis. Very nice there. Into Spoon. 3 apexes, 1, 2, and you have a third bite as you come out and start to go up the hill. There we go. Go past the short circuit pits. Then up over the crossover and into 130R, corner that was remodeled 3 years ago after Alan McNish's Formula 1 accident. Still, though, one of motor racing's most daunting corners, along with Spa's Eau Rouge. The 4th place battle continues. Out front, remember, still Honda 1, 2 and 3. Arta NSX from Takata Dome NSX. Here's that pass again at the hairpin. Beautiful move. Richard Lyons judging that perfectly. Pushes the Lamborghini out into the path of Fabio Carboni, who just hasn't got anywhere to go for a moment. Has to back off a little bit. But Carboni, young Brazilian, soon catches him up. They go into that series of sweepers. In the early part of the circuit, turns 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, ending up in 7, Dunlop, which is right behind the pits. And that takes him up the hill into Degner corner. Oh, very, very close that time. That's Degner they're going through now. Under the bridge, the crossover, and then down towards the hairpin where they'll be jumping on the brakes as they go through turn 10. Hard on, and again, Fabio Carboni right with Richard Lyons. Great racing this. Honda's out front, making it a little bit processional. It's confirmation of the rest of the top 10 there. There's the Huzan SC trying to hold off the Rolling Stone Real NSX. The newcomers, the Kaneshi cousins. Juichi Wakisaka at the wheel of the white car, the white Lexus. This is for 8th. Out of Spoon and up the hill. Over over the starting grid for the short circuit, over the flyover and into 130R. 500 horsepower, 185 miles an hour as they go through here. So much grip in these Super GT cars. GT300 is doing their best to keep out of the way as we see just 10 to go. 42 laps now completed of the 52 here at Suzuka. Great racing throughout the afternoon. More drive-through penalties, 46, that's the Huzon Dunlop Z, and to the car 32, which is the Epson NSX of Roac Duval. So what would be the reason for that, for Duval getting a penalty? Where's his car? Fabio Carboni sharing it. We don't know yet, but perhaps they're meting out penalties all around the place for pit lane infringements. Carboni flashing his lights at the GT300s as Richard Lyons threads the needle through them. Says Carboni going to come in this lap and take a penalty. The gap between them is only half a second at the moment. Carboni's going to have to do it fairly soon because we're running out of laps, aren't we? 9 to go now. It's not this lap. So Carboni will have had the message by radio from the Nakajima team. Still this battle for 8th going on between the Huzan Toms SC430 and the Real NSX. The Real Rolling Stone car, which started in 4th place. Great start to the season. Toshihiro Kaneshi, who's at the wheel at the moment, as we said earlier, 2001 German Formula 3 champion. The Arta NSX in 2003, and then it was the same in Nissan 2004 and 2005. So an experienced GT500 driver. Just glimpsing odd views of the Pacific in the background there, and the hills around Nagoya and around Suzuka Circuit. Owned by Honda, and in fact Honda Land is right next door. Huge fun fair, permanent fun fair with that big Ferris wheel you see every now and then in the shots. And of course Japanese can come here to the driving school, they can come here to learn roadcraft, karting, all sorts of things. There is the Pacific in the background, just alongside those hills. Kaneshi, of course, also briefly driving in the DTM. Some of you may remember that. Bright orange car. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get to grips of it. Not like they've managed to get to grips today in this red car here in Japanese Super GT. Right behind them in this battle, still the Eclipse Advan SC430. Oh, Takata problems here in the Takata car. That is Takashi Koguro, fire in the back of the car. Ah, what a big problem, a second place car then. And this is perhaps a reflection of what happened earlier in the year. They had some problems in the official test session at the beginning of the month. It looks like the same problem might have struck again. An engine problem, that was flames definitely coming up. This is lap 45 of 52. Look in the background, quite a big fire there. I don't know if it's an oil line or something even bigger than that. Maybe something's gone through the side of the engine. 3.5 litre V6. Well, that's the end to their run. Marshals have very quickly got the far out. Very efficient marshalling here at Suzuka, as always. Well, as we lose our second place car, we'll take a break, come back and see if Ralph Furman, Daisuke Ito can take it to the win. We're back for the closing stages of the Suzuka 300 kilometers opening round of the 2007 Japanese Super GT Championship. Just 6 laps to go of 52. We've just lost our second place car, the Takata Dome NSX. Ryo Mishigami and Takashi Kogure going up in flames with just those 7 laps still to run. Our race leader at the moment, though, Ralph Furman's Arta NSX, which he put into the lead from pole position, now handed over to Daisuke Ito. It looks like they're going to convert their second successive pole for this race into a win this time. They finished 3rd last year. There is the car, there is Daisuke Ito, and it's all looking good for the Team Honda Dome Arta NSX V6. Problem for the Impreza, that pulls off. He's had an engine failure apparently. Imano handing over to Aoki. Pulls well off the track. And we've got another car off as well. This is the one of the endless cars, the Nissan Huzan Dunlop Z of Wakisaka. This car was running hard in 6th place. That car's either pulled off or gone off. It's not hit the barriers per se, but Marshall's running down to see what the problem is. So race all starting to come apart in the closing stages. That was the car of Wakisaka and Lotterer. Or was it? No, it was the GT 300 car, not Wakisaka Lotterer, because they're still running in 8th place. This is still the battle going on. Between Lions and the Real car. That is the Huzan SC of Lotterer and Wakisaka. So it was the GT 300 sister car to this that was off the track in the wall. GT300 version driven by Naoki Yokomizo and Kota Sasaki. This is the battle for 7th then. The Huzan car having gone past the Real NSX, and that is letting Richard Lyons of Britain slip away a little bit more. The pressure's off. Through goes the Real car. Good drive by these cousins, the Kaneshis. Into 7th now. So the race order, as we see that pass at the chicane, we didn't see what happened there, but the Huzan car had got ahead of him at one point, and then the Kaneshi car came back. Drive-through penalty, that's what we didn't see. Took its drive-through penalty. Dropped back behind the Huzan Lexus and has now clawed it back in. Right, race order. Here is Ito leading in the Arta NSX. In 2nd place, the Zensurumo Lexus of Tachikawa Takagi. In 3rd place, the Zanavi Nismo Z of Richard Lyons and Satoshi Motoyama. And in 4th place, the Epson NSX of Luc Duval and Fabio Carboni, which moved into 4th, of course, when the Real NSX had to take its penalty. There is the Takagi Tachikawa car. Running number 2, Zensurumo. This car starting the race in 5th place. Winners at Sugo last year, 3rd in Motegi. Their overall championship position at the end of the year was 5th. So good afternoon for Richard Lyons. He's going to be on the podium with Satoshi Motoyama. Good comeback for Richard. Back with Motoyama in the factory Nismo team. Goes past the Scheiden. Scheiden's had a good race as well. That is running second now behind this car, the Endless Advan Nissan Z. And in third place, the Toy Story MRS. We shall never know, I won't know during this race, why that little MRS got out of the way of the Scheiden, let him through at the hairpin on his outlap from the pits. I guess he just mistook it for a GT500 coming through and was anxious not to block it. Up the hill then, just a couple of laps remaining now. The Real NSX desperately trying to get back up there. Some Hotel Ortex Z in front of him. That's not Richard Lyons, that's the Mikael Krum Sugio Matsuda car just in front of him. Car that started in 8th place. Krum started it, handed over to Sugio Matsuda. 3 to go. The Real car really trying to get back past now. Wants to get back into the top 6. Climbing all over that Motul Z. I have to say, the two Kaneshis have certainly brought a breath of fresh air into the series. New team, new pairing of drivers. Great showing today, starting this race in 4th place, but for that drive-through penalty would be still right on the tail of Richard Lyons in the 3rd place Zanavi Nismo. But for Ralph Furman and for Daisuke Ito, this is just looking better and better today. What a way to start your campaign. Pole position, just 2 laps away from that first win of the season. Always good to win the opening race. It's the one that sets the yardstick for the rest of the year. 9 races this year for Super GT. After Suzuka, we go to Okayama in April, to Fuji in May, to Sepang in June, after the Le Mans 24 Hours. July, we go to Sugo. August, we're back here at Suzuka for the 1,000 kilometers. September, Twin Ring Motegi. October, Octopolis, and then in November, as Japan starts to go into winter, at Fuji once again for the 300 kilometers there. Oh, bit of a aggravation there between the Motul car of Matsuda and Toshihiro Kaneshi. Still flashing his lights all the time. There's a switch there, they just leave it on, the lights flash all the time, try and distract the driver ahead, but I don't think Matsuda's going to fall for that one. He's too wise an old fox here racing in Super GT. So we're looking for Daisuke Ito, and heading for victory here from pole position at Suzuka. He's just ahead of the Zensarumo Lexus, the Zanavi Nismo Z, and the Epson NSX of Fabio Carboni, Luc Duval, which has come back well from that spin by Duval early in the race. And a drive-through penalty. Final lap. Oh, that's a Honda. That's our lead car. That's the NSX. What is the problem? The NSX has suddenly slowed. This is Daisuke Ito. The car is sharing with Ralph Furman. Final lap of the race, and he's slowed right down. This is an absolute disaster for the ARTA team. Team Honda Dome. This race was in the bag. And here's our 2nd place car, the Zensarumo Lexus of Toru Takagi, Yuji Tachikawa. It's Tachikawa at the wheel at the moment. Well, the car's still running, but what is the problem? Has it gone into safe mode, get you home mode? And there's a lot of smoke coming out there now, and it's not just dust from the circuit. There is definitely an engine problem with that car. There goes Takagi's car, the Tachikawa. Is that him there? No, not quite. Hasn't quite caught him up yet. So Ito does appear to still have some sort of power, but it's not full power. Flashes coming out of the left-hand bank of the V6. GT300s are passing him. People queuing up to get past as well. There is our new race leader. That is Tachikawa in the Zendt Tsurumo SC430. Oh, and what a disaster this is for the Team Honda Dome crew. Ralph Furman did all he could, pole position, and led the race till he handed the car over. Ito then took over the lead of the race, and here on the last lap, the car has lost its power. Not only has the Zendt Tsurumo Lexus gone through, but the Zanardi Nismo Nissan 350Z of Lyons and Motoyama goes into second, and the Epson NSX of Loic Duval and Fabio Carboni goes into third place. Well, what a turn-up. We saw the problem earlier for the Takata Dome. Had a very fiery end to its engine, but we hadn't expected the lead car to go out as well. He's still running, he's still going around the circuit, but here's our race leader, about to become our race winner. Just one more corner as he goes the long way around the 130R into the Casio Triangle chicane. And Yuji Tachikawa will take the checkered flag to give Lexus round one of the Super GT Series. Toru Takagi, his co-driver in this race, and it's a great victory here for Zendt Tsurumo. Lexus SC430. They take the flag, and the team celebrates immediately as Richard Lyons will finish in second place on his return to the Zanardi Nismo team. There's Richard. Good job there with Satoshi Motoyama, and also for Nissan, winning GT300, the endless Advan Nissan of Masami Kageyama and Tomonobu Fuji. Well, what a turn up for the books at the end of this race. 52 laps, and the same car led for 51 of them until engine failure at the end. Ito is still running round, but he has already gone a lap down to the rest of the opposition. The Forum Engineering S430 of Bjorn Wertheim and Tatsuya Kataoka finishing fourth. What a great debut for Bjorn Wertheim in this series. And there's the Scheiden, finishes second in GT300, just ahead of the Toy Story MRS. Well, I thought Ito had got round. He hasn't. He hasn't got round the lap. He was still running. He's pulled off. That's on the far side of the circuit. Oh, the body language of Ralph Furman's Japanese co-driver. He did everything right. Final lap of the race, but this is worrying for Honda. That is two engines they've lost today in the race. They lost a couple of engines at the pre-season test here at the beginning of March. There, though, the happiest man in Japan at the moment, Yuji Tachikawa. And we wait to see Toru Takagi's face when he brings the Zendt Lexus back round to the pits. Great win here for that car. This car starting from 5th on the grid. Toyota Team Tsurumo, engine by Toyota Technocraft. Winners at Sugo last year, third at Motegi. And of course, really looking to make a bid for the championship. They won it in 2005 together, had number one all last year. Well, there was the man who was leading the race, and well, the marshals might be waving to the race winner, but Daisuke Ito is not. He is just so despondent there, sitting head bowed, shoulders slumped. So the 38 Zendt Lexus car, as we said, carried number one all last year in honour of their 2005 championship win when it was still a Toyota Supra. Now they've gone back to number 38, the number they carried in 2005, because of course number one has been given to the Huzan Toms Lexus of Andre Lotterer, Juichi Wakisaka. You're wondering where they finished 7th. Last year's champions finished 7th in the first race of this year, behind the Real NSX of the Kaneshi cousins. Good job by them. Never quite got past Mikhail Krum and Sugio Matsuda in the Motel Ortec. Next round at Okayama. Join us here on Motors on